Daddy, why'd they build all those pyramids? Chapter 36, June 12, 2101, taxi. You going, Gans? She asked. I see you're packing. I have to, he said, continuing to stuff clothes into his carry-on type bag. What about me? Don't you love me? Romy asked, putting her hand on his arm. It's not about love, it's just the right thing to do. Please move your arm, I gotta pack. The taxi will be here in a few minutes, he said, pulling his arm away and stuffing a white shirt into his now nearly overstuffed bag. But are you sure? My mother says this pyramid is just another scam. God hasn't come yet. Yes, he has, and I must go to be with him. The kids are already there and say it's a wonderful place. We must all go to be with God or we will all die. Don't you read your Bible? Anne said, not looking at her. Look, my grandmother was dead for 125 years. Now she's alive. She says my father, the SS colonel, was on the right side. The fact that he is alive again proves he was right. Hitler was right. The time of the super race is nearby. Your grandmother's alive. My grandparents' parents are alive. Everyone's alive. Since he spoke, Jans went to the sink to get his razor and toothbrush. So, only God in heaven can do such a thing. Only God in heaven can bring back life. This is no alien. This is my creator, your creator. Christ has come to save us all from evil, including the evil your grandfather committed. Haven't you seen the pictures? We stood together at Auschwitz, Romy. It's all evil. Mom and Dad say all the pictures were faked and no one was murdered. Grandmother says the Jews were just prisoners of war. That's all. They were treated fairly. So many died because the food ran out when the Allies closed in. The Allies caused so many to die, Romy said, her long dark hair falling about her beautiful face. Whatever, Gans said. He zipped his carry-on bag shut and said, Goodbye. He gave her a peck on the cheek and went to the front door, pulling his wheeled bag behind him. Romy held it open for him as he went through. She stared after him as he walked down the front walk to the taxi, crawled in the back seat, and was gone. He consciously did not look back as tears filled his eyes to the brim. He hoped so that he was going to a place where there would be no more crying. Never, ever. Romy stared at the taxi until it disappeared around the corner and then kept staring out into space. She could see the pyramid from her front door and hated the sight of it more and more every day. She hoped the army would soon force it away from Earth, or better yet, destroy it. She was unable to cry anymore. Her husband and children had been sucked in by the alien pyramid, but she must live on. She must preserve her family and honor. She finally stepped back into the house and slammed the door shut. She looked around and realized she could not be alone. She pulled out her cell to call her mother, but only got a message. Went to Spinazzo's for supper. Call later. Spinazzo's was the finest restaurant in Rio. She decided she would get in the car and head over to her mother's anyway. She would get to her mother's before they returned, but would then be able to talk and not be alone. She went upstairs to freshen up. She must start a new life and start it today. Her mother would know what to do, and her grandmother as well. Her grandfather, yes, he would help her. Jans had left her all their money and credit cards, said he didn't need money where he was going, said God would provide. She wondered aloud where God had been when they had lost their 14-year-old to suicide. Where was he when her aunt died of breast cancer? She had not found either of them yet, but knew they must be alive. Every grave, every crematorium, every anatomy lab was empty. She didn't need that kind of God, a selective God. She needed a God who loved and protected everyone, and she knew that God had not yet come to this earth. But she also knew someday he would. At least she would get to see him, even if her family didn't. Tears should have come, but her tear ducts were empty.